Hello. Hello, hello. Ooh, my voice is a bit scratchy today. And my camera's a bit blurry. Uh-oh, off to a bad start. Hold, please, we will fix it. Deactivate, reactivate. Crystal clarity. There we are. Good morning, everybody. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit sick and stuffed up from our cold winter weather here in Houston. But nonetheless, we will push through. Hopefully my voice isn't too terrible today. We will do what we can. But today, I introduce a very special edition of Fantasy Map Monday to make up for all the Fantasy Map Fridays we've missed recently. So here we are. Let's go ahead and get to it, huh? Best way to jump right back into it is, well, to jump right back into it. So here we are, and here we go. I hope it's fun. I hope you enjoy yourself, and thank you for stopping by. I will try not to sound too terrible today. We're going to see how it works. I am very stuffed up, but bear with me if you can. Meg, good to see you. Welcome in. Hope you are doing good. You have a good weekend? Thank you for dropping by. I apologize in advance. You might notice I'm a little bit stuffed up today, but we will push through and try not to sound too atrocious as we do the stream today. It's cold. Yeah, I'm sure it's very cold where you are. Up in New England. It's cold still here in Houston, which don't make any kind of sense, but here we are, huh? Hope you had a good weekend. Do anything cool? Let me know. Last stream, we were working on these mountains up in here, and I'm returning and looking at them with fresh eyes. I'm pretty happy with how they've gone. They look pretty good to me. So I'm going to kind of leave those. I'm also kind of looking at the top of the map here. Let me get my cursor so you can see a bit better. Here we go. Kind of looking at the top of the map. I like it being less mountainous on this side. It's obviously too stark of a contrast right now. But I think that we will do less mountains over there. There's always too many mountains in my maps anyway. What's up, Renegade Combat over on YouTube? My guy, good to see you. I'm glad you made it through the night. Happy morning to you, man. Amir, you said my full-time job is writer. Yes, I am a full-time author. That is what I do for a living. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Alright, so I have an idea today, y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to achieve it. But we're gonna try something a little bit wacky today. A little bit wacky. And let me actually reference. I need to check. So we're gonna pop to this real quick because I need to check something in reference to the part of the map I want to make today. Gas Mask Man, you said, please tell me what website you recommend for fantasy maps. I recommend Incarnate. That's the one that I use primarily. That's what I'm using here today. Now it's a little. They did up the price on it. It still has a free tier, and it still has like an in-between tier, but they upped the price of the pro tier a lot, which is a bit of a shame. But it's a great product, so it makes sense. Anyway, Incarnate. I'll put it in chat for you. There you go. I recommend that. Hot Goblin, good to see ya. Dimitri, welcome in. Pleasure to have you, my friend. And wait, there's an other name wasn't available. There you are. How you doing, man? Good to see ya. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome back in. Y'all, I'm very stuffed up today. I apologize. We're gonna push through anyway. Gas Mask Man, the differences between the free and the top tier pro version of Incarnate are primarily commercial differences in that the higher tier one, you have the print license, to use your maps in books or other print material that you might want to sell, which is particularly relevant for authors and stuff. If you just want to do it for fun, then no worries. You don't need to worry about that. But I would like to potentially use these maps in my books one day. That is what it's being made for. So because of that, I've got to make sure I'm on that pro plan. Oh, I sound so bad, y'all. I'm hearing it as I talk. Whew, we struggle to talk today. Hopefully it clears up a bit as we go through stream. Here, let me pull up chat a little bit better. ZM, welcome in, my guy. Good to see you. Lucy's buff out. You said the island in the middle reminds you of the Imperial City in Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. So the lore for that little island in there, the sea used to stop right here, and we said that there was a wizard here, and his experiment went wrong, and he accidentally exploded this whole crater, and the ocean flooded in and got a bit of an extension. So there's our little lore for that. Goblin, it is, we're not going to do maps on Mondays typically, but I didn't stream last Friday, which we missed a Fantasy Map Friday, and I believe we missed the one before that as well. And I'm going to be out of town this Friday, so I figure what we'll do is Fantasy Map Monday and Wednesday this week to make up for it. Hi, Critical Myth, you said accidental geomancy. Yeah, we can go with that. Pierce, we're using Incarnate to make this. It is an online map maker. Y'all bear with me. I'm just trying a little something here. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna check it out. My logic, and maybe you can help me with it. Maybe you can help me with some ideas. I'm writing book 2 right now in this series, and one of the places I'm planning on the main characters to go is my own knockoff version of Moria from Lord of the Rings, because I'm a huge Moria fan. So we got to do our own little homage to it, and I want it to be right through here. This is kind of the area where it is underground, and I don't know how to visually represent that above ground. So I was wondering if kind of we could do like some messed up mountains that kind of make a seam when you put them together. So something like, let me grab this big boy. We're going to spin him around. Something that's kind of like this. To imply that there is like almost a fracture beneath the ground. A big chasm, perhaps. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. It's a new and radical idea, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far. Largely, I'm sure that's just me not executing it correctly. But we're going to give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, we'll see what we can do. For those asking, the software we're using is Incarnate to make this. Renegade over on Video App says, don't let the sickness win. You're just bringing out your radio voice. There you go. Justin, you said happy Monday. You wrote an opener for your novel. And your outline is forming. Rock and roll, Justin. Very good. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. I'm so glad I'm so glad you found the opening. Now keep it going. Keep that momentum rolling. Will, you said, do the maps have function? So I use them for my books. That's the whole plan. So this one is for my most recent book, right here, Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip, getting into trouble. You can find it linked in my bio. But so this map is it covers what happens in the first book, the terrain at least. And then I'm writing the sequel now, so we've expanded the map out to have the rest of the world for for book 2 and future books. It looks like the Avatar: The Last Airbender map. Yeah, I get that a lot. And you know what? I'll take it. That's a sick map. I grew up a fan of that show. So I will definitely take that comparison. Alright, so this is kind of more what I was imagining, y'all. Just like an absolute cluster of like messed up, churned up earth. Almost as if like a giant trench was dug through here or something at some point in time. And I'm thinking that it's like active plate tectonics hitting together. Does that make any sort of sense? Probably not. but it's hard to represent underground locations. But I have done it once before on this map, so let me show you my other idea. Let's maybe that one goes. Nah, that's too samey. I think what we need to really differentiate this, I'm gonna delete 2 of these bad boys out, and we're gonna put some different types of mountains in here. Actually, that one could stay. We're gonna drop that one. Let's move this like here. This is a website and an app, actually, RP21, but it's called inkcarnate.com. It's a map maker. It's wonderful. I have a ton of fun with it. Sir Paint on Video App, my friend. Welcome in. How you doing? Happy Monday to you. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you had a good weekend. I am sick, if you can't tell. Busting out the the voice for video today, and bear with me on it. I apologize. I'm very gargly. Alright, I'm not sure if this is working, but I'm kind of into it so far. But I'll show you the other option. So like this is just like a total cluster of mountains here. The other option for underground is this. This is actually, this is not a giant canyon. This is an underground cavern system full of spiders and other monstrosities. Gigantic spiders. And we depicted it here by making like a cutout, essentially, a cutaway. I could do that for this other underground area up here, or we could do, you know, what I'm trying to do here, which is this kind of suggestion of like churned terrain. I don't know. What do we think? Which one do y'all prefer? The cutout would be more fun in that we could actually put in a little bit of we could suggest, we could hint at the layout underground. Number 1, you like the number 1 wavy fan. You like the cutout? Rock and roll. Anthony, I don't believe it's on the App Store. It's an app for your computer, or it's a website. So if you go to inkcarnate.com, and I'll put that name in chat, inkcarnate, you can also make your own maps. Thomas, you like the different landscapes? Well, thank you. For those just joining, here's the full map as it stands now. We got a lot of work to do on it, but we're getting there, y'all. I think it's almost time to add trees into our swampy Amazon area here. That's gonna make it really fill out nicely. New at TikTok, you say you like the cutout as well. All right, the cutout seems to be the preference. So maybe we could do the cutout then. Jack, yeah, the map maker, the map maker we are using is Inkcarnate. I just put it in chat there. It's inkcarnate.com. Oh, thank you, Raffi. First of all, Raffi, good to see you, buddy. I didn't know you slipped in. And thank you for pinning the comment. I appreciate that. All right, then we're gonna get rid of these little mountains, much as I liked them, and we're gonna try a cutout instead. Oh, you know what though? Hold on. This is new Inkcarnate, right? We have new tools at our disposal. We're gonna try something here. I'm gonna highlight all my mountains. We're gonna group them, and I'm just gonna turn that layer off, and we're just gonna hide it. So that if we end up not liking what we're making now, we can just bring this all back. So hold on, we're gonna group them. Oh, I just lost the whole grouping with a misclick. We're gonna group them all. Still missing a couple. There we go. Group them. We're going to say hidden mountains. And then we're going to find them in our object layer. Theoretically. There it is. Okay, it's a sublayer. Which one is it? Maybe I'll just move them away for the moment, because I'm not seeing them in my object layer. I should be able to. I can turn them all off. The sublayers are locked for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there. We're just gonna move these mountains out of here for now. So we're gonna put them right off here on the edge of the map. Wee Watcher, you said, are you able to add mountains that look like the Chinese National Park? I think you mean Zhangjiajie National Park. I love those mountains. You can't really get mountains of that type. There are different mountain varieties. I think, theoretically, the ones I was just working with, let me grab one. You could make these kind of look like those mountains. It's kind of close. It's not quite the same, though, All right, so we're going to try the cutout then. That seemed to be what chat preferred, so we're going to give that a little try. To do that, we're going to need to start with canyons. If you hang out on stream a lot, you might know that canyons and cliffs are one of my favorite things to make on stream. So, surprising nobody, we are doing it again. Now, I want... this is largely a, trench-like cutout. So I want it to move largely in a horizontal direction, if that makes any sort of sense. So let's see what we can do with that. That's going to require a certain perspective on the cliffs. But we're going to make this work. I think I got high hopes for this. J-Pill, this is for my most recent book, as well as the sequel for it, which I'm writing now. You can find them linked in my bio. Here, I'll flash it real quick. It's this one right here. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip and all of the misadventures they undertake because they can't stay on task. Don't give them important quests, y'all. That's a bad idea. Goblins, look at these guys. Don't entrust them with important work. What are you doing? Makes for a fun story, though. Alright, let's grab some more cliff sides here. We can try to make our little cutout. Our knockoff Moria. I quite like that one. What other pieces can we get here? I'm just gonna drop them onto the ground until I can find the ones that are at the correct angle that I'm looking for. There's several of them right there. Now, I don't necessarily want this to just be so straight and narrow. So I do want some variance in where it goes. I apologize, y'all. I don't normally sound like reheated roadkill. I'm just a little bit sick today. Ooh, I like this one. This could be good for a little bit of a variation. The Watcher, you're spot on, my friend. We are, in fact, building this in Incarnate. My favorite map maker. There's a lot of good ones out there, not gonna lie. The fantasy map maker space is in a lovely place these days. There's a lot of just wonderful tools out here. But Incarnate's kind of the one that I first started with. It's the one that I know best. And I'm a little bit biased. I'm just trying to do a little bit of a canyon or a winding cavern type effect here. Is it possible? I don't know. We're going to figure it out. You want to see the full map? You can do that. I'll give you a quick zoom out. Here. Perfect. Y'all get a zoom out. I get a drink of coffee. Seems like a fair exchange? We'll take that trade, huh? Grumden, you'd use Incarnate for your D&D games. Yeah, it's good for that, right? It's very good for that. Kayla, you just finished your first D&D map on Incarnate. Rock and roll, Kayla. That's awesome. I love that. You know, new at TikTok, I'm just going to call you new. You said, could I do transparent mountains or opaque mountains over top of this to hint that, we're looking underground? I like that conceptually. I don't think it's going to work in execution. I've turned this mountain opaque, very opaque, and it's just blurring out what's behind it. So it doesn't look like it's a true opacity. Something's going on there. It's a good thought, though. I would like that to work. Hey, thank you, Nolan. You said love the work, love the map, keep up the good work. Thank you, my guy. I appreciate you. Pleasure to have you here, Nolan. Alright, so what we're going to do after we make this area is we're going to paint it dark, kind of a grayish smeared color, like you see in here. And that's just going to represent our cutout for this is an underground section. I'd love to find a way to do more, I don't know, windy, labyrinthine caverns. But look, that's kind of the joy of this stream, y'all, is you get to learn as I do with Incarnate. You can see me figuring it out as we go. As I do not profess to be any great, brilliant creative mind with Incarnate. We're just putting in a little bit of effort. Whoop, didn't mean to rotate, meant to scale. There we go. Scale that one down a little bit. So I want there to be, I do canonically have that there is an opening right here, and they have like a port, essentially that, I need to find a different piece here, that this little inlet is actually underground, and so they have like an underground port, and they can sail out to the ocean. That is a slight spoiler for Book 2, which I am writing now. Alright, that kind of works good. I like that there. Don't mind all of my random pieces down here. My loose bin of Legos as I build this, essentially. Oh Lord Doy, you said, is this for D&D? This is actually for my book that I'm writing, but it is very much like D&D. Here is the cover. It's linked in my bio. One reviewer did describe it as a D&D campaign where no one put any points into intelligence and the DM's taking a shot after every chapter. So maybe the map's kind of for D&D, because I'm just kind of writing my own D&D, we could say. It's linked in my bio if you want to pick it up. But and here's the full map. Grumden, you said, what kind of fantasy races live in this world? So this is a fantasy comedy, so I'm kind of satirizing a lot of existing fantasy. So we have, elves and dwarves and whatnot. But also, it's kind of wacky, so, like, we have octofolk and terror birds, and henchmen are a distinct class of being who are very relevant in Book 1. So there's a lot of goofy, crazy characters in here. I realized after writing Book 1 that I didn't use as many like classic fantasy races as I might have wanted. So we're fixing that a little bit in Book 2. So yeah, it's very Terry Pratchett-esque, if you're familiar with the great comedy writer himself. It honestly feels a bit wrong to even to even compare myself in the same sentence, which I don't really think I'm doing. It's just more of a point of reference. Can't find any pieces here that do what I want to do. I might have to go in and specifically pull them out instead of just getting lucky. I think I need a curve. I need a wrapping around to the outside. I don't know if that makes any sense to y'all, but I don't think I'm explaining it clearly. Let's see if we can find something. Yeah, like that guy. That'll do. That'll do. I just need to scale it down a bit, not rotate. I always do that key binding wrong. Yeah, see, the curve isn't quite right. I want it to follow the land a little bit. Let's see if we can get something a little sharper on that curve. I don't really see one. Maybe that, if I horizontally rotate it. That could work. Yeah. Hold on. That kind of works in there. We just got to get this to line up right. Little rotation, a little scaling. Leica, thank you for the roses. That's too kind. Appreciate you. And you know what, Leica? We got a little tradition around here. If you give a gift, you get a gift. So, you gave the roses. This little guy's for you. There you go. Congrats on your first goblin. Hey, don't feed him after midnight. Hide everything flammable in your house. And I apologize in advance for the mess he's going to make. They are not clean creatures. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to cheat a little bit. on this. I'm going to just change the shape of this land to fit the cliffs that I want in here. So we're going to go to the smooth brush, and we're going to make it like 6 on the brush size, and we're just going to trim this land away a little bit. And we're going to make it fit the shape of these cliffs. Now it looks a little bit unnatural up there at the curve, so let's we're going to go to randomize, and we're going to just... Okay, well, oh, that's kind of a cool little cliff it made. That's not really what I was going for, but let's see if we can't I don't love it. It's not there yet. Let's get our brush size down a little bit. Y'all, I apologize, but if you hang out on stream, you do know that one of the classic tropes here is Alex gets weirdly obsessed with about 10 pixels on the screen and has to make them perfect. So thank you for bearing with me. Anyway, here's a full map zoom for the new folks that are joining. William Brian Morrison on Video App, thanks for being here, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Happy Monday to you. It's Jacqueline, good to see you. New, my name is Alex. Your name's also Alex. Alex is Unite. Hi, Yakobo, you said, what program is this? It is Incarnate. I'll put that name in chat for you. It is an online map maker. If you put in incarnate.com, you will go to the website. Alright, let's finish this little cutout area. We're pretty close on it. I'm not sure it's quite there yet, but we're getting there, y'all. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. No, that's not going to work, Alex. Get your perspective right, man. Ooh, I kind of like this. I kind of like this piece in here. Let's do it like, oh, yeah, see, look, boom. That kind of links together, makes a little, like, border. All right, we're working. Maybe something like this in here. No, I hate it. Terrible. Bad. Get rid of it. You didn't see anything. Never had such a terrible idea. Frog, welcome in, my guy. Good to see you. Hope you've been doing good. What sort of world am I making? Well, and Alex, you said Alex, A-L-E-X-I-K, Alexic, Alexic? Oh, it's Alexic, probably. That's kind of cool. For those asking, the world is a fantasy world. It's a comedy, kind of a satire. What's the book about? I'll give you the quick pitch. Here's the full map, and here's the book itself. It's called Wriggly Little Hands, and it's about a bumbling family of goblins who are sent on a last-minute quest for the Dark Lord to help him retrieve his doomsday weapon so he can defeat those pesky forces of good. Bad news, they're goblins. They're not good at staying on task or following directions, navigating, doing anything really, except starting fires, eating a lot, and causing chaos. So that's mostly what they do instead of helping out their Dark Lord, and it all just kind of unravels from there. If you want to check it out, it's linked in my bio. Please, it's an audiobook, an ebook, a paperback, and it takes place in this world here. And currently, we are working on our knockoff version of Moria. Paxel Tech, you said, long time no see. I'm glad to see you being so consistent and working hard. Enjoy the stream. Well, thank you, my guy. Glad to have you back. You know, it's not really, it doesn't feel like work that often. I really do enjoy being here with y'all. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Y'all make it a nice start to the day. I appreciate that immensely. Peter, so we are doing, this is going to be an underground section here. Let me go ahead and just do a little bit of painting on it, huh? That'll make it stand out a bit better. Let's go to my favorites. And I'm pretty sure I favorited, yeah, my dungeon gray color. Alright. Now, I'm not sure what opacity I did this at originally. Let's make sure we're painting the foreground, not the background layer. Yeah, see, that's a bit too dark. We need to lower that opacity by about half. And we're going to intentionally paint around these mountains over top, because those are not part of it. And we're just going to paint in these segments to show that this is, you know, as best we can, we want to show that this is an underground region. It's a cutaway, essentially. And we'll fix up this paint. This is uh, a rough start to it. Millie, welcome in. Yes, I do know it is Monday. We are making up for missed Fantasy Map Fridays today. Someone asked if I'm planning on making more books in this world. Absolutely. So book 1's out. It's linked in my bio. Book 2 I am writing now. It should be done at the end of the month and released soon thereafter. And then, yeah, I intend to continue. But this is book 1 and 2 that I'm doing right now. Those are a direct sequel. After that, I'm just going to do standalone stories from around the world. We got this whole big world to explore, and it's going to be fun. Millie, you're good. No need to apologize. I'm just happy. Any live you join, we're happy to have you. Never any pressure to join. We're just glad when you show up. Are the white bits water? Yeah, maybe it comes through a bit white. It's light blue on my screen. But yeah, this is all around here is ocean. These areas. The other white is snow. It's our cold northern biome that we've not we've not really fleshed out too much yet. Kieran, you asked, did I start by making maps for D&D? Actually, I just started making maps for fun. I found this website and like played around with it, and I was like, wow, I enjoy this as much as I enjoy video games. And I just, some nights when I was going to play video games, instead I made maps. And then I went, I am a fantasy author. I guess I could do this for my own books. And I don't know, I guess the rest was history. Here we are. Alright, now I still need a certain specific piece to finish off my little cutout in here. This guy's alright. I don't think that's going to be the piece, but we're going to see. Ooh, maybe. Maybe just. I'm kind of a fan of it, y'all. I think that kind of did it right there. Yeah, look at that. That kind of caps off that little underground mesa, perhaps. John Vegas, good to see you, buddy. Ayrton Senna, F1 fan in chat, huh? Hey, here's to one of the greats. You said that area kind of looks like an underground area, but like the gray parts are like cloudy areas, cloudy clouds. Yeah, this is a cutaway essentially for our Moria area, our big underground cave system. Vagos, you found Cyprus. Good eye, good eye. So, yeah, alright, we'll give the story. We gotta do it once per stream, at least. My family's from Cyprus, so I like to put Cyprus in as an Easter egg. And on this map, it was too obvious, and everybody called it out, so we just went ahead and said, you know what? This is a comedy fantasy world. We can do whatever we want. Cyprus canonically exists now. So, yes, Cyprus is just right down there. Let's go ahead and get... Man, I'm so stuffed up. I apologize, everybody. I'm sure the audio quality is just terrible. Just want to finish up this, and we need to turn this little... I do need to finish that. I had a thought of, like, I almost could... Okay. I'm kind of thinking... I don't know how to explain this. So, like... If we were to take... Oh boy, how can I represent it? I'm trying to do like stepping stones of layers. Like, so if I were to paint this thing black, right? That would indicate that it's underground. And then this one up here that's not painted is like the surface, right? Or higher up. I'm just wondering if I were to paint this as underground and then paint this one darker, does it make it look like it's deeper underground? Kind of like it's hidden more? Because that could be cool to show, like, chasms that go even deeper. So, like, you put something like this right here. And then let's grab one of these little guys. And that's not going to work. That's the wrong piece. Maybe, like, this guy. Let's scale it down. And then make it kind of match like this. Kind of like that. And then we paint that area even darker black than the rest. Can that kind of make it look like it's like there's, you know, untold depths? There's even darker depths down there. Oh, there you go. That's smart, Kieran. Change the opacity of the cliffs on the inside. You might be onto something. Look, y'all. Like I said, you get to learn along with me. I'm just kind of figuring. Yeah, there we go, y'all. I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of here for it. All right, let me break that group. We're gonna make this nice and narrow because I want this to be like a chasm, right? An underground chasm where there's already underground. And now I'm going to up the opacity on my darkness brush. Why does that feel like it's not painting correctly? Maybe we just need a darker dark for it. Maybe we grab a proper like black. Something like... I say proper black, and I'm going to sit here and not pick a proper black, but you know. Something like this. No, that made it lighter. Yes, I will show the whole map in just 1 second. Let me pursue this wacky idea. Did the opacity change on these again? Yes, for some reason the opacity changed on these when I broke the grouping. Let me fix that, and then we'll look at the whole map. There we go. Group them up, and then drop that opacity. There we go. Alright, here's that big ol' zoom out we're looking for. There's our full map. Hey guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate you being here. We are making a fantasy map for my fantasy book series. Ella Bay, you said, what is my favorite book that I've made? So here's my book ones at least. I'll say this. This is my answer to this question always. I have no favorite children. I love all of my books equally. I don't love any more than the other. All of them are great. I have no favorite children. Hopefully that answers the question. They're all linked in my bio, though, if you want to check them out. And they're audiobooks, ebooks, paperbacks, any format, sold pretty much anywhere books are sold. Amelia, you spotted Cyprus and you're from Cyprus. Hello, Kalimera, my friend. Kalimera Philomu? Where in Cyprus? My family is from Morphu previously and now Limassol. Yeah, Azul, you can totally ask. It's Incarnate is a website that we're using to make this. Online map maker. Sir Paint, you said, I can't wait for book 2. Book 1 was so good. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You have sung the praises of book 1 and flattered me the whole time. I appreciate that immensely. I'm so glad. It's one of the coolest things in the world when people tell you they liked your book. I've been doing this. I've been writing full time since 2018. It does not get old to have people enjoy your story. Thank you for the follow, by the way. John Vegas, you're thinking of playing D&D with the family. Any tips? Have fun. It's D&D is best when it's thought of as collaborative storytelling. You're essentially just creating a story as you go in real time with people you like. And that's a pretty cool thing. So I think the rule of cool and or story beats, satisfying arcs, all of that supersedes the rules. I think that the rules are there to help you tell a fun story, but most of all, just have fun telling a cool story. LMA, you said, can I make a cursed forest after making the cliffs? I think we kind of have one. There's just no trees in it yet. So you see this this whole area is going to be like an Amazon rainforest type vibe. Here, actually, you can see it better here. So this is a zoomed in small section of this map. And that big rainforest is the Swamp of Sadness and Sweaty Underthings, where the goblins live. But you notice it borders our legally distinct Mordor up in here. And the Dark Lord's presence spreads evil all throughout here. And this is a relatively evil swamp, as long as the Dark Lord is there to continue spreading his evil influence. Kira, do you like the spider cave? Thank you. It is the caverns of Whispering Web where live big spiders, also bigger spiders, and also the biggest spider who has haunted the world since the first sunset. It's a lovely place. You should definitely visit sometimes. Off the beaten trail, very quaint. Not good hospitality, though. Sabled Sun, I'm using Incarnate to make this. It is an online map maker. Alright, let's group these up. Oh, why am I doing that wrong? Did I get it all? There we go. Group it and drop that opacity, because this is underground. Kind of like that. Alright, let's pick a few more kind of chasms down in here. Let's see what we can do about that. I'm gonna break this grouping, and we're gonna turn it into a different. We're gonna use more cliff sides to make different shaped chasms here, essentially. Something kind of. It doesn't look too chasmy. I know this is a really small detail that's not going to be seen, but you know. You gotta have a little fun with it. You gotta get a little OCD at times. Kind of like that. I think I probably have... I have a crater that I could use. Nah, we don't want to do that. Alright, one more chasm down there. We don't want to overdo it. Just to imply, like, lower depths, you know. Call it Underdark-esque in that it is deep and dark, and yet it is far from the darkest and deepest part of the world. Okay, okay. We can work with that. Get a quick zoom out for Fishy. Here you go, Fishy. Here's our full world map. I think sorry, y'all. Dealing with a really stuffed nose. I think zooming out that the dark area here is just too dark at the moment. I want it to match this one here. I know it's probably really small on your screen. So we're going to try to change up that color a little bit. Let's think about how I did this. I think this is actually a different gray than what I've been using. So let's go ahead and paint over it with a different gray. Peter, you said you've been world building for 9 years and my tips have been very helpful for you. Well, thank you, my guy. If you've been world building for 9 years, you might be more experienced at it than I. I think I should be getting tips from you, man. It's pretty sick. That is not the right gray color. What's your favorite world that you've built, Peter? LMA. Man, sorry. Cannot talk. You asked, am I almost done with the sequel? I wouldn't say almost done, but I'll be done with it by the end of the month. That is my target, and we'll hit it, because I have an editor. My editor's already booked. The audio company is waiting on the manuscript to make their audiobook, so I cannot miss that deadline now. I don't see the gray that I used in my favorites, so we're going to go find a gray, y'all. Let's try this one. Do we like this gray? Ooh, that does look undergroundy to me. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and paint that in. Make sure it looks similar to our other one. Yeah, it's a little bit darker, but that's all right. We're learning, right? I don't really know how to suggest underground areas, so we're figuring it out as we go. That's part of the beauty of this. How large is my world compared to Earth? I don't know. Let's say the same size, because this is a comedy fantasy world, right? So it's really just like the world building is important, but not like geographically accurate, or like, you know, I'm not tracking tectonic plate movements and stuff. So largely what I'm doing for world building is going, let's have fun with it. Alright, I want to lighten this a little bit. Just a little bit. So we're going to put some low opacity light gray into this mix. And maybe we do some fog or something down here. I don't know. We need to obscure this a little bit. It's still just a little bit... It's too easy to see for being like an underground cutout. I want the suggestion of stuff down here. But I don't want to do spider webs again. Because the spider webs are for an area that is very specifically inhabited by spiders. I'm also going to up the opacity on this gray color. And we're going to just come around the edges with it. To kind of give a bit of bleed. I don't want it to be too stark. Yeah, see, just bleed. It's bleeding out, and then we'll go back to our original gray, the lower opacity, and we're going to color in these edges. Okay, okay. I'm kind of liking what we're getting here. We're working it. Get that opacity up a little bit. There we go. Smear in these edges a little bit. It stands out too much, y'all. The contrast on it's way too high. I'm not sure what to do. Find Your Smile is at the top of the plateau, needs a light gray on top. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that advice. Y'all, if you don't know, Find Your Smile is an incredibly talented tattoo artist. When they have input on color theory, I listen. Because they actually know what they're doing. I'm not sure how to pull off this effect. We're just gonna paint around it a little bit for the moment, and we're gonna kind of figure it out from there. It just something looks wrong, right? I don't know what it is. So Find Your Smile. What we're trying to do here is essentially a map cutout, like over here. Hold on. There we go. This is not a big canyon. It's actually a cutout to show an underground area. And I want to do that again right in here. Man, it's getting bright out there. My lighting situation's getting all weird. Oh well. So I want it to be like an underground cutout. And I don't know how to represent that, essentially. As to the Cyprus question, why is Cyprus there? My family's from Cyprus, so I like to put it in as an Easter egg. But I was too obvious this time, and everybody spotted it, so we went ahead and fully turned it into Cyprus. And we're just going to say Cyprus exists in this fantasy comedy world. Because it'd be fun. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with this underground stuff, y'all. I like it in concept. Wii Watcher, you want some mesas? Well, we have a big old mesa that we made over here, where it's temperate down at the bottom, and then it's cold up top, and then right in the center there's this big like crater. It's like a volcanic, it's like a dormant volcano, so it's warm enough for life in the center while still cold around the outside. Bad Magic. My family's from Cyprus. I am American. I'm applying to accept my dual citizenship. With Cyprus. But yeah, one half of my family, everybody over there, immigrated from Cyprus in the 60s. Oh, interesting, Find Your Smile. You said a tip to find good color is to apply it when zoomed out. That's very interesting. I want to give that a little shot. We're just gonna go over the color we've already done. So I don't like how it turned out. And we're going to try to apply it from up here. That's really interesting. I want this color with a low opacity. Oh man, it's so far away. How am I supposed to paint it from here? You ask the impossible of me, my friend. Oh, it's so teeny tiny. It's going to be like 2 pixels on you guys' phones. Bad Magic, you're from Limassol? Rock and roll, dude. That's where my family that is still in Cyprus, lives in Limassol. Lovely city. Big fan. Okay, we're kind of color matching the other underground area. I'm not hating it. Yeah, I like that. Find your smile. So we find the color here, and then we zoom in and we polish it up. I think that kind of worked. I think this color kind of matches over here. They kind of look similar. They're not exact, but this one has the advantage of these spider webs in it that give it a different color, you know? Alright, so now let's go ahead and paint off the edges. So we're going to clean up this spillover, our watercolor-esque bleed. That's how we oh, I need a higher opacity. This is how we sharpen it up. And obviously we'll trim the edges as well. Probably I made this too sharp, too stark a contrast. Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm losing it, y'all. I don't have the touch today. Let's go back to our gray color. Oh, that's not it. That's not the right gray. That's me, this one. I've changed the opacity level. That's what's messing with it. Still a bit high, but that's all right. We're gonna do a little bit of smearing in on this. It is digital painting, but there are some cooler times when it feels like real painting, and you can kind of mix the colors together. It's quite nice. Something I miss from real painting. Smart idea. You said paint the top of the plateau inside a little bit lighter. Yeah, so this is supposed to be like different depths, Find Your Smile. Like this plateau is still underground almost. Alright, now we're going to try to do a lighter color again. I don't know why I'm so distracted with this. I should probably move on. It's probably not the most engaging thing. Here's a zoom. Oh man, I still don't like that color. It just looks too drastic. I think we need to hem it in with some mountains, perhaps. I think if we hem that in with some mountains and then kind of rough up the edges, it'll probably make it look less stark. Morgoth, welcome in, my guy. What an appropriate name. So yes, there is actually a fortress right next to the volcano. And let me zoom in. So if you look at this section right in here, I actually made a zoomed in version of that first, and then expanded it out to this. So here's that zoomed in area, because this is where book 1 starts. And speaking of Morgoth, we have our legally distinct Mordor here. So you might recognize one of your lesser lieutenants being referenced in the text at the beginning of the book. Morgoth, so it seems like a nice place. Alright, let's put some mountains around this, our knockoff Moria. I had built these mountains earlier. And we're gonna move them to paint. Alright, we're just gonna put them around the edges. Well, we're going to keep the original over here, and we're going to take these, I'm going to break it up, and we're going to scatter these around the edges and see if that can kind of rough this up in the way that we want. I'm not certain it's going to work. I'm already not liking the look, but we're going to see what we can do here. Oh, you liked... I did like the mountains in the cavern, too. It's a little bit confusing with them in there. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I don't know if it's the idea that I'm going for. But I mean, I see what you mean, right? It does look cool in there. Maybe there's some potential. It's just kind of an absolute cluster down in there, but I see what you mean. I like it as well. Add highlights to the higher peaks. Oh man, we got some real art going on in here now. Y'all, thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you. And if you don't know, we're working on this map for my most recent book, Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy. It's linked in my bio if you want to check it out. We had a request for the full map, so here's a quick zoom out. You can see everything we've done so far. Put a lot of work into it. It's going well though. I'm really enjoying it. I appreciate y'all being here with me, and I like that as we do this, there's just so many areas we're creating that aren't in the book yet, but give me inspiration for future places to put in the book. All right, y'all. I am liking these mountains just kind of scattered down here inside our knockoff Moria. It just kind of looks like a mess down there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe that's the answer? I don't know, y'all. We're in unknown territory here. We're figuring out some stuff as we go. I kind of like it, though. I kind of dig what's going on. I don't know. What do y'all think? What's the yellow area in the lava? Okay, so this is actually reminders for me. We're going to get into some stream lore here. This area is... I originally made a more zoomed-in version. You can see it right here. So this square is roughly this area here, right? So if you zoom in on Legally Distinct Mordor, you can see these like big fire ravines and like lava trenches and stuff that I made. Those were really hard to do, but I really like them. So I need to remake them here on this representation of it, and it was really hard, so I'm putting off doing it. So instead we drew yellow lines to signify where they need to go, and every stream I open it up and go, not today. Today is not lava day. I'm not ready for it. Jack Ann, good to see you. Welcome in, my friend. Did you have a good weekend? Glad to have you back. I hope you did everything you wanted to this weekend. I hope you're rested and ready for a new week. Because ready or not, it's here. We are living it. Alright. These mountains down here are just bizarre, but I like it. I like our Moria creation here. Lucy, yes, this is this wilderness area up in here is a frozen wilderness. Not a lot of civilization up there, but definitely some creatures. I think we've already said canonically that Yetis are going to live there, because that would be fun. There's also a giant ice dragon who you might meet in book 2. I don't know. Yeah, it's a fun little area. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet, though, because it is quite relevant to book 2. But I haven't gotten to that part of writing book 2 yet. So we gotta figure that out. Ooh, you know what? I forgot this trick. I used to know this trick. If I put these mountains right up on the border of the cliffs, it makes it look more like it's a cutout. Like it kind of shows like, hey, we're peeling back the layers and peering underground here. I'm a fan of how that's conveying that information, I suppose. Yeah, see, that makes it look a bit more like it. Now, it's still too harsh of a line right up in here, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this brush, make it big, and then we're going to just kind of smooth out the edges a little bit. You don't want too many stark lines, Okay, that did make it look a little bit more like a shadowy ravine. So I do think we need to fill in those edges a little bit. Ooh, I'm liking it though. This is a nice color we're kind of getting in here. Okay, we can rock with that. I'm liking it. Let's get a zoom out and see. Yeah, it does. It's still a bit darker than my other underground area, but it is deeper and darker, so perhaps that makes sense. Anyway, here's the full map for those that just joined. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for following. Thank you for contributing suggestions. And if you are interested in reading and existing more in this world, may I suggest my newest book, set in this world. Wriggly Little Hands is book 1 in the series. It takes place in this world, following a bumbling family of goblins as they journey through these environments on a quest to help save the Dark Lord. But they're goblins, so you know they're going to mess it up. They can't stay on task. It's me. We will definitely be adding political divisions, kingdoms, city-states, etc. I'm just more on the geographical scale right now. We're working on mountains, forests, ravines, underground areas, coastlines, all that fun stuff. It will eventually look like this, where I'm going to put in political divisions and borders and mark cities and areas of note, points of interest, etc. This is a practice map that we made. We'll eventually put all this concept. We'll name the mountains and stuff like that. But for now, they have to exist first. Let me get... Ooh, I like that mountain. I like this little guy, right in here on the coast. I'm about it. And then here's one of my favorite little tricks. Not what I'm doing. Ignore that. So see how that mountain bleeds into... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. See that mountain bleeds into the water there? What I'm going to do is I'm going to add land with a very small brush size, like 4. And we're going to do this. And we're going to just kind of fill in the land around it. And then trim the edges. So now it looks like that mountain is actually like spilling all the way down to the water. Might have done it a little bit too much. There we go. I kind of like that. A little more coastline there. Jakin, there are plenty of islands, including here's some islands for you in this big river delta. But yeah, we've worked on a fair few islands around here, and we'll work on more, including this one, new edition. It's me. You can certainly make this on Minecraft. In fact, I would be flattered. Please do show me if you work on it. For those asking, the app is Incarnate. It is an online map maker. I'll put the name in chat for you. Incarnate. There we go. Sir Paint on Video App, you said the mountains inside the chasm give it a lot of depth but make it look impossible to travel through. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea. It is definitely labyrinthine down there in our knockoff Moria. But I'm kind of digging it. I think it works. Alright, and now the last thing I need to do for it, the last thing we're going to do on this specific area is highlight the peaks just a little bit. Make them appear as if they are higher up. You know, they're not as deep underground as the other areas. There we go. That's some nice color in there. I like that a lot, actually. We stumbled into it. Cyprus mentioned. Yeah, okay. I see we've queued into the Cyprus audience today. My family's from Cyprus, and I had a Cyprus Easter egg in the map, and it was too obvious. Everybody saw it, so we just leaned into it and we said, you know what, Cyprus is just gonna be in this world. So it is just straight up gonna be an underground, an actual place in the world. Morgoth, you said a few jewels underground. A few Silmarils, perhaps? I don't know. Alright, I think that's good for Moria for the moment. Knock off Moria. I say that and then immediately see something I want to change just a little bit. those 3 clicks really made the difference, y'all. Really important work. All right. What else do we want to work on today? Anything jumping out at y'all? Thank you, it's me. I'm glad you like the map, my man. I appreciate you. It's been a lot of fun to work on. I'm glad y'all are here with me to do it. The main thing that I want to do is fill in this. Well, Speddy Nat, you're spot on. You said I should make a swamp. This area is a big old swamp. That's why it's painted that dark green. I just haven't finished putting in the trees yet, which could be a good thing to do. That could be a nice little task. It's gonna take a minute, but it will really fill it out. Like, see how the trees make it look so much more alive up here and finished? I think the core of the map's gonna look great with trees. So maybe we go and drop some trees on in there. But where was that? Let me see if I can find the comment. There it is. Kierkegaard, you said, what's the book about? So, thank you for asking. I'll give you a quick pitch. Here is the cover, and the book is called Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to save the Dark Lord. Except they're goblins, and despite trying their best to be evil agents of the Dark Lord, they are not very good at it. They get easily distracted, go on side quests, and generally mess everything up. So if you're interested in a book that's been described as a D&D campaign gone off the rails, give it a look. It's linked in my bio. It's an audiobook, it's an ebook, it's a paperback, it's sold pretty much anywhere books are sold. And this is the world it takes place in. And book 2 is due soon. Ari, you said, is that a meteor impact crater that I see? Yeah, so originally that was the concept, and then we came up with a different idea for it, which is basically that the ocean used to stop right here, and this was a wizard's experiment gone wrong, and he accidentally a big kaboom, and the ocean flowed into this new giant crater he'd created, and I am going to put a wizard's college here. Specifically, if you've read the prequel novella, Warwick College for Witchcraft, Werebeastery, and Welding. A famed institution in this world. Jake Hartman on Video App. Welcome in, my guy. You said Map Monday. Nice. Good to see you, man. Raisa, you said, what am I using? We're using Incarnate to make this. I just put the name in chat. Jake, hope you had a good weekend, my guy. Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing good. Let me know. The white is water, and then it turns into like the snowy areas up here. So I'm still trying to find a way to show ice in here. Like these fjords might be frozen over. So I'm not sure how to do that yet. But for the moment, I think we do some trees. We've been underground all day today. Let's do some trees. We need our swamp trees specifically. So let's go to tree. Here, I'll show you so you can actually see what I'm looking at here. We're going to go to trees. And here are my options. And specifically, we want these right here. And now we're going to do a cool little thing that I love. We can set, instead of placing a single tree at a time, oh, didn't mean to do that. Instead of placing a single tree like this, what we can do is click place many at a time, and we can up the area so that I could click and boom, 50 trees. Obviously, that was too much and the density was too high. But we can lower it so that it's like this, or continue to lower it so that it's like this. And we can basically fill in this large swath pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to need to delete the trees that overlap the rivers and make them too hard to see. So let's find what kind of area we want and what kind of density. Density is probably too low. Still too low. Maybe like this. Yeah, now we're talking. And we're just going to start putting our swamp down. And then we'll come back and we will polish it all up. And we're going to vary the tree type as well. Not just going to be our cypresses in here. A little bit of a splatter approach at first, but then we'll clean it all up. I promise. Might look rough at the moment, but the finished product always comes out nice. Haha, Vanzel, you're an Incarnate fan. Hell yeah, man. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. Heck yeah, man. Nah, I'm a huge Incarnate fan. Lovely app. So fun. Literally, some nights I will choose it over playing video games. I just realized a little bit of an issue that I didn't check ahead of time, y'all. My trees that I have previously placed are much bigger than my new ones. They're at 122% and my new ones are at 82%. But I'm typically using 122 as the scale for trees. So, all those trees that I just placed, oops, are a little bit too small. We can fix that pretty quickly, though. If I just highlight them all, uncheck these mountains. Let's unhighlight these mountains. That'll take a moment, but this is going to be a good little trick. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. Almost there. Don't need you, you, or you. There we go. Now we've got all the trees selected. And now we're just going to up their scale. And there we go. Now they are the same size as my previously placed trees. And look at that, y'all. That swamp's starting to take form. Find your smile. You said they're just lower in the landscape. Actually, find your smile. That is a very good point. So that's a good trick you can use, guys. I'm gonna put that into play. Let me grab all these trees again, and not my mountains. And what we're going to do is we're going to make them a little bit smaller than my trees on the left because they are actually altitude-wise lower. So theoretically, things that are a higher altitude would appear closer to you because, well, they are. So if we make these trees just a little bit lower, or a little bit smaller, we're kind of suggesting that they are at a lower altitude, which they are because this is a little swamp area, and it is a big bowl, essentially, of humidity. A couple of the trees down here escaped my resizing. How dare they? Alright, we're using 105% scale now, so let's get these down to that. There we go. Alright. The swamp takes shape. Vansley said, is this based on a book of yours? It is. It's for this book right here, which is linked in my bio if you want to pick it up pretty much anywhere books are sold. It's an audiobook, paperback, ebook, and it's basically a fantasy comedy about goblins going on a very important quest to serve the Dark Lord and messing it up horribly. Don't trust these guys with important quests. They're not going to do a good job, but it's going to be fun to read about. Sir Paint, you said my trees got downgraded to bushes when I sized them down. Fair. Alright, let's make sure that we are... Yes, the trees are now pasting at my new scale. So let's continue to put them in. And also we're going to delete these 4 because these are the old scale. This is a little bit of a tight area. We might need to actually manually place most of the trees there. So we're just going to keep on keeping on. And now what I'm going to do here, as I get down to this lower reach of the forest, see how my green kind of fades away down here? My idea is that's further from the river. So as we get further from this really swampy area, I'm going to start lowering the density of the trees. You know, it's less moisture, it's less swampy, so we're just going to lower that density as we get out there. It is no longer the heart of the swamp, essentially. And then, my next pass, I'm going to come through, and I'm going to put in different types of trees. As well as move all these so they're not covering any rivers or anything. Can I add a sea monster that guards the rivers of the swamp? Ooh, LMA. So there is actually a creature canonically that exists in the swamp. The goblins have named it the thing that waits beneath the mud, and they are terrified of it. What is it? What is it? I'm not entirely sure, but that's up for you to decide, I suppose. What exactly is the thing that waits beneath the mud? Why are they so afraid of it? What's the story there? That's one of the beauties of of world building, y'all. Famously, a good example that I always reference. If you've been around, you've probably heard this, and if you've been around the stream, you've heard this, and you'll be tired of me saying it. But one of my favorite bits in Lord of the Rings is Gandalf mentions that in the deep places of the world, there are old, nameless things that gnaw at the roots of the world and have been here since the beginning, and says that he will not name them here for fear they should appear, and then never mentions this again in the entire rest of the trilogy. I think that's a wonderful aspect of world building, to just hint at like unknowable, ancient things that even your most wise characters don't know about. It makes the world feel big and alive. All right, now I think we need to get some different trees in here. It's not all one type of tree, you know. Kubli on Video App, you said, is it possible to make islands above the skies on clouds? Yes, there is actually an asset for sky islands that you can use in your map. I don't have any in this world yet, but there's like, it's literally built in into the map maker. They're pretty cool. I need to experiment with them more. Ross, you said, what's the swamp? Does it have a name? Yeah, the swamp is called the Swamp of Sadness and Sweaty Underthings. You can see a zoomed-in version of it right here, or at least my original idea for it. There we go. The goblins have named it. It is a very sweaty place. Can we add a giant dragon fossil? Yeah, we could probably do that. It'd be a little bit hard to see at this level of zoom. Like, it wouldn't really make sense, but I guess it depends on how big the dragon is, huh? There are giant dragons in this world, so it would make sense. Vanzel, the island on the right, is Cyprus. My family's from there, so we included it as an Easter egg, because this is a silly fantasy comedy world. We can do what we want. And also, we gotta spread the gospel of halloumi, you know? We want some palm trees, maybe, in this swamp. Is that appropriate? I'm going for like Amazon rainforest vibes, you know. So there would be palm trees there. I know we think of that as more of like an island thing, but I mean it's a rainforest thing. It's a tropical jungle thing. I am from a subtropical swamp myself, so I'm quite fond of swamp-like environs. You can find this app on Incarnate. It's an online map maker, incarnate.com. They have an app, and they have just a browser-based version, so whatever you prefer. Alright, I know this is some minutia work, but we gotta sprinkle in some other trees. Break up the monotony. I probably went a bit overboard on the cypress trees in here. So we're going to go through and delete a bunch of them. And just kind of polish up the rest of the swamp. I'm going to sprinkle in these palm trees. And then I think I'm going to come through with what I call the normal tree. Pretty generic looking tree, because you also need some of that in there. I want some canopy diversity here. Overstimulated writer, I do not believe you can use Incarnate on your phone. I don't think they've gotten to that level of sophistication yet. I mean, when I started using them like 2 years ago, they were just a little startup, and they've grown massively. I mean, deservedly so. I love their software. But yeah, they're growing. I'm sure one day, I could see one day it being usable on a phone. I believe it's currently usable on tablet. I just don't think it's the best experience for it. It's better managed with the power of a computer. There's a lot of keyboard shortcuts and stuff. Okay, I want to go through and thin out these trees just a little bit. Let's do a little bit of deleting. because it can get too crowded, and then it looks like you just splotched trees everywhere with no intention. And look, that's partly true, but you don't want to give away all your secrets. You can't make it look like you didn't put effort in, you know. Every tree here has been placed explicitly in the correct place intentionally. Wink, wink. But it's also nice to have denser areas and less dense areas. So, like, first of all, let me uncover this little lake. My little lake needs some love. Don't take that out of context. I also like to do, like, a little glade here and there. So, like, yeah, cut out those trees in there, because there are clearings in the forest in real life. So you got to make a few of those. How big is this map? Have I been working on it for months? I've been working on it for months, but only because I typically only stream it on Fridays. So realistically, I've only been working on it for 10 streams now, I believe. So I'd say 10 2-hour sessions. That being said, I could do it a lot quicker. I'm just having a lot of fun doing it with y'all, you know? Kubli on Video App, you said, idea, make a ruined battlefield of a past war long ago with blades and arrows stuck in the ground. So yeah, that's a cool concept. The blades and arrows and stuff, we wouldn't be able to see them on this map, but you could say that, specific areas are that, particularly here. This whole plane is the plains of abandoned hope and paralyzing fear, a cursed ancient battlefield. If I were to put arrow assets and swords and stuff in here, it wouldn't look correct to see, like, an arrow as big as the hills next to it. So we have to be a bit more zoomed out on scale, you know? Jake Hartman on Video App said, what lives under the mud? The great flying hog, of course. He'll come back and rule the goblins one day when pigs fly. That was a lot of setup for that joke, Jake. I appreciate the commitment, at least. I leave it up to your imagination. What is the thing that waits beneath the mud? What is it? Why is everyone so afraid of it in the swamp? My headcanon for it is it was kind of like almost like a cryptid type thing. People aren't even sure if it actually exists, or it's just been explained as a reason for why people sometimes disappear deep in the swamp. And I'm going to leave that for the characters and the readers to decide. You tell me. Is there actually a thing that waits beneath the mud, or just people sometimes disappear in this gigantic swamp of sadness and sweaty under things? So I'm going to clear these trees out of the rivers, but I'm also going to put them overlapping the rivers in some areas. I just don't want to fully block them. Like, see how here it's like choked out? We might leave a little bit of that, but we also might pull back a bit. Because I want them to appear that they are interrupting the view of the river. But I don't want to fully ruin the view of the river either. It's kind of a fine margin to walk. And all of this detail is a little bit overboard, because when you zoom out, oh look, there's the swamp. It looks fine. I do appreciate having brought the swamp into the world finally. That's been long overdue. Overstimulated writer, you said, how do you deal with writer's block? So, two ways, essentially. There's two reasons for writer's block, in my opinion. One is you are working too much and you're burned out. If that's the case, and you can determine that that is the case, you need to rest. That will solve the issue. You need to just take some time, be kind to yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself to work when you are burned out. Writing is a passion project. Like, it is art. It is creativity. It's hard to make that mechanical, robotic, and consistent. Now, the best writers, I believe, are consistent, but you can't always be 100% consistent, so feel free to be kind to yourself and take time to rest. If it is not overwork, it is not burnout, and you are just you just don't have that inspiration, you're creatively blocked, then what I say to do is set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes, and while that timer is running, you have to be actively writing in the world of your story. It doesn't have to be good. You might delete all of it when the timer's done, but while that timer's running, you gotta be writing. What I find is it forces you to just get past the thought of, oh, I'm creatively blocked, I don't know what I'm going to do, all my ideas are bad. It forces you past that and right into the step of just actually writing. And by the time that timer's done, I find that that has kind of tricked my brain into being like, oh, no, I'm good to go. Let's keep rolling. It gets the creative gears turning, essentially. So give that a try. 5 or 10 minute timer, and you have to write in the world of your story while that timer is going. Let me know how that works out for you. I've had a lot of folks ask this question, and a lot of people said that that helped them. It is what helps me, so that's my go-to method. By the way, thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you. Very kind of you to be here. If you don't know, I am author Alex Knight. I've been writing full-time since 2018. I write fantasy and lit RPG. And this map we're making is for my newest book, right here, Wriggly Little Hands. It's a fantasy comedy adventure about goblins getting into chaos, causing most of the chaos, honestly. It's linked in my bio. You can get it pretty much anywhere books are sold. Please take a look if you'd like. Lord of the Edits. Did I take inspiration from Lord of the Rings? Yes, I did. I love Lord of the Rings. But also, this series is a comedy fantasy, a little bit of a satire. So we are also intentionally spoofing famous fantasy series. So it's partly inspiration and partly, well, we're poking a little bit of fun, a little bit of tender-hearted fun at fantasy classics. I apologize, y'all. This is one of the least interesting parts of world building or map making, when I just have to finagle my trees into the correct positions. But we're almost done. Our trees have mostly been removed from the waterways. They're not overly dense in too many areas. Well, I say mostly removed from the waterways. There's one sitting right there in the middle of the river. And here. That was a big mostly. Mostly with an emphasis on the mostly. Okay. I'm digging that. There we go. That's a good looking swamp. I still need to go do my regular trees through there. Ross, you like the map? Thank you, my guy. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Gob or Gabi, you said, oh, and Jake Hartman, a lot of comments on Video App. I apologize, I missed those. I will get those in a moment. Gabi or Gob, you said, any tips for writing? Write what you are most excited about. You have to write to entertain yourself before anybody else. So always start writing to just do the thing that you think is absolutely coolest and that you are just absolutely stoked to see on page. The readers can tell if you were having fun when you wrote your story, and it translates to more fun for them. So definitely write to entertain yourself before anybody else. And I say write short stories. I think short stories are the perfect way to practice novel writing, but they are quicker than writing novels, and you can submit them to short story contests, which any short story contest will be free entry. Don't be tricked into paying for entry. And it's a great way to practice and get your name out there. All right, Jake Hartman on Video App, you said some of the best things in fiction are little throwaway lines, and what's in your head is way crazier than if you explain it at all. Yes, you're referring to my world building thing that I was talking about with the thing that waits beneath the mud. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the magic of writing and storytelling exists between what I think in my head, what I put on the page, and then when the reader reads that and imagines it in their own head, it changes from what I had in mind. The reader brings their own bias, their own experience, their own ideas into what I have put on page, and they create their own version of it in their mind as they read what I wrote. That's really cool to me. I love that. I think that is actual real-life magic. Lord of the Edits, you're thinking about making a fantasy story? Hey, rock and roll, you should. It's a lot of fun. Ah, Jake, what a great example. Jake Hartman on Video App, continuing the discussion on world building, says a good example of a throwaway line that leads to more world building was in Star Wars: A New Hope, when Obi-Wan says your father fought in the Clone Wars, and doesn't elaborate. Right? It made everybody for years. I've heard this story when Star Wars came out. For years, people were like speculated what the Clone Wars were. And it eventually evolved into some of the wonderful content that we have now. All from a throwaway line that was just there to explain away one little thing in the moment, you know? It's one of the ways that throwaway lines like that make the world bigger and deeper and more exciting. Alright, now I'm putting a few of my default trees in here, just to break up the canopy a little bit. I would say this jungle, from looking at it, is like 90% swampy cypress trees, 6% palm trees, and like 3.5% regular trees, and then 0.5% of, I don't even know. We'll throw some random stuff in here just for fun. Just makes it look more natural. Thank you for the hearts, everybody, for the likes and the follows. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time. I should say I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. And typically I do different formats. Monday is typically Ask an Author Anything, where I answer your questions about reading and writing and publishing and all that fun stuff. But I missed Fantasy Map Friday the last 2 weeks, and that's unacceptable. So we needed to get back to it. So we're going to do Fantasy Map Monday and Fantasy Map Wednesday this week. Andrew says, my father did not fight in the Clone Wars. Don't spread that misinformation. A famous pacifist, was he? Overstimulated writer. I am not aware of the Legends of Avantris. I've not heard of that. Decoy, this is indeed Incarnate. You're spot on. Good observation, my friend. And welcome in. Alright, I think we got a good looking jungle in here. Swamp of sadness and sweaty underthings. Obviously, I will continue to find and fine-tune it and find other areas, but y'all, that's pretty sick. I like the look of that a lot. Actually, okay, I did see one thing. I need to do. Let me grab my template for normal tree, and I want to just put a few of them up in here, just to rough this up a little bit. It looked a little too clean on these rivers up here in the mountains when I zoomed out. There we go. You just got to break up those harsh borders a little bit. Alright, y'all. Hey, that's good progress today. I'm here for it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your suggestions, for the fun conversation. I need to go and start writing, because I got a sequel to write. But if you've enjoyed today's stream, please give me a follow. I'd love to see you on the next one. We will be back Wednesday to continue the week of fantasy map making. So please come back for that one. 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. We'll be here. Very happy with our little Moria area we did here. It's a decent depiction of a cutaway. This is all underground. We're just trying to show that with the shading. I like that. And I love finally adding the trees to our swamp here. So that's good progress. Who knows what we're going to do on Wednesday. We're going to pick another area of the map and fill it out. Keep building this bad boy. We're getting there. I mean, it's almost done. I think. Almost. We'll call it halfway done. So thank you for joining me on that. Folks, as always, thank you to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which have provided our background music for today. As well, a special thanks to community member Raffi the Engineer, who provided, and composed, by the way, our 5th background song, Midnight at the Round Table. Raffi, you're amazing, man. I appreciate you. As always, a shout out to my excellent moderators, Melissa Lee 28, Raffi the Engineer, One Happy Harpy, The Seth Word, other name wasn't available, aka Slendy, Leisha T, and Aaron Winnick. I appreciate y'all keeping the moderation going, keeping chat nice and chill. But chat, I also appreciate y'all. You bring the good vibes, man. Not a lot of moderation needed. So thank you for being here, bringing the good energy, helping me kick off my week right. I hope it was a good start to your day. Everybody, thank you for joining me. Please do give me a follow if you want to join me on the next one, which will be Wednesday morning. And, of course, if you enjoy this world that we're building here, check out the book. It's linked in my bio. And if you do, I hope you enjoy it. Other than that, thank you very much today, folks. It was a pleasure. And I'm out of coffee, so you know what that means. We got to get out of here. I will catch you on the next one, y'all. Be good. Happy February. Stay warm. And as always, be excellent to each other.